Part 14. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 131. Chapter 131. Like a smaller version of her. The group spent a few days in the deserted forest and then decided to go back. After all, everyone has gained a lot in recent days, and their cultivation levels have improved and they have gained spiritual pets. Everyone discussed going back one after another. After all, there is no use staying here now, so it is better to go back first. So this practice can be over. When the group was about to go back, Bingfeng suddenly said that he felt a powerful force. She had no choice but to find an excuse to leave and let Boyi take them back first. She planned to stay for a while. A few people saw her leaving in a hurry, but they didn't worry too much. After all, she was so powerful. There was a reason why she didn't let them follow her. After all, their cultivation was not enough in front of her. Mu Qingjian sat on Dandan and looked at the center of the deserted forest, where a giant star's egg was floating in the air. Beside it is the corpse of a high-level python, which was obviously erupted from its body. It seems that this giant python wanted to refine the giant egg, but failed to refine it and ended up becoming its nutrient instead. She looked at the giant egg curiously. Bingfeng, can you tell the level of this egg? It flew around the golden dome. Master, I can't tell what the strength of this dome is, but judging from its ancient egg pattern, it should be an ancient divine egg. I'm just curious, how could this thing appear here? The error doesn't seem to have come out of the realm of mystery. You must know that you are the most powerful in the mysterious realm, and it is impossible to sneak in something more powerful than yourself. It was already unusual for him to be a divine beast, but even the ancient divine egg appeared, and it pecked the giant egg unhappily. There was a clicking sound, which scared it and flew to her. Damn, master, this egg wants to touch me. I just pecked it gently and it cracked. Mu Qingjian flew in front of the egg and saw a humanoid dragon man inside the egg through the egg hole. That's right, it's a dragon man, because it has a pair of small dragon horns on its head. When the dragon man saw her, he called her mother excitedly, Mother. It raised her hands for a hug, which suddenly made her feel a little flattered. She was called mother for the first time in decades of her life, even though she was not a human but a dragon. When the dragon man saw that she was not hugging him, his purple eyes instantly filled with tears, as if he was going to cry to her if he didn't hug him. Mu Qingjian had no choice but to reach out and take it out of the egg, only to find that it was a boy because it was completely naked. He is so beautiful, with long silver hair, and looks like a girl. It happily picked up its eggshell and said, Mom, eat, it's delicious. Look at it handing you its own eggshell to eat. You must know that the eggshell is its most precious thing. No, I won't eat. When the dragon man heard that she didn't want to eat, he started to cry again. Mu Qingjian quickly smiled and said, Mom, I don't want to eat anymore. I'm an adult now. You will grow up only after you eat, you know. As soon as it heard that it would grow up after eating it ate its own eggshell happily and burped after eating. Then he stretched out his chubby hand, glanced at it and frowned. Mother, is not big, she should look like, my mother is big. Looking at the way it talked and stumbled, I couldn't help but rub its head. It will take time to grow to the size of my mother, you know. It smiled and showed its teeth, so, I like my mother. After saying that, he put his head into Mu Qingjian's arms, feeling extremely happy. She looked at the dragon horns on its head and said, Little guy, can you put away the dragon horns on your head? Otherwise it will be inconvenient to bring you back. And if the bad guys see the dragon horns on your head, they will catch you. It raised its head and thought for a moment. As if thinking of something, he grabbed her finger and took a bite. She couldn't help but screamed, why did this little guy suddenly bite someone? Instantly she felt a domineering blood contract hit her soul, and soon a contract formation was formed at her feet. This little guy directly became her natal beast, and she felt her cultivation level skyrocketed, and it didn't stop until the later stages of the tribulation. It turns out that she succeeded without the need for thunder. This is the strength of the ancient beast, it is simply too powerful. Mukinjian hugged it and kissed its cute face. "You are so awesome." It was so praised by her that it shyly hid in her arms. "Mom, it's great too." Dandan and Bingfeng also upgraded thanks to this dragon man's blessing. Take out your own clothes from the space, put them on temporarily, and then buy clothes that suit it. Seeing the dragon horns on its head disappear, she felt relieved that she didn't have to worry about it being discovered. Since it can transform into a human form, it is also necessary to give it a personal name so that it can be easily taken home. "Little guy, how about you call me Mu Han from now on? Mu is my surname, Han is your future father's surname, and your Yin is the name your mother gave you. Do you like it?" Little Yin. Mu Yin smiled happily. "Mother, I like it, little Yin." "Haha, it's you who likes it, not my mother." "Little Yin, likes it?" She took Mu Han back to the imperial capital on Dandan, found a children's brand clothing store, and bought a lot of clothes for him. Everyone was impressed when they saw such a cute girl. In the end, Mukinjian told them it was a boy, and they were even more adorable. "A boy looks too delicate. The most important thing is his silver hair, I just love it." Seeing how enthusiastic they were, Mu Han was so frightened that he hid in her arms and hugged her neck. "Mother, I'm afraid." She had no choice but to take a taxi with her things and return to Bo's house. And Yan, who was staying at home, suddenly sensed something and hurried to Bo's house. When he saw the silver-haired boy in her arms, he was surprised. "It turns out to be it. Why did it come here? If it doesn't work, tell the owner." Mu Han glanced in the direction where Dark Flame left. It seemed that it had sensed the same kind of creature. Regardless, it had found its mother anyway. "In addition, I have lost a lot of memories just to come to this world, so now I am satisfied to find Mukinjian." When she appeared at Bo's house holding a 2-year-old child, Boy was so frightened that he stood up. "Where did you kidnap the child and take it home?" When it saw Boy being so fierce, it was so frightened that it turned around and hugged her. "Mother, I'm afraid." This sentence of mother-in-law scared Mr. Bo and Grandma Bo, looking at the 1 or 2-year-old child in front of them. It couldn't be that she really gave birth to it. Bo Lao pointed at her with a trembling finger. "Xiao Yan. Is this girl your child?" "Ouch, it's over. I'm going to be a grandfather when I'm only 20 years old." "Xiao. You're going to be an uncle." "Look, that girl is your niece," Boy said, covering his face in collapse. Mu Xiao looked at the female doll in her sister's arms. "Sister, do I want an uncle? Why does she call her sister mother-in-law? Is she really my niece?" Looking at the completely confused old and young, she quickly explained, "Ahem, this is not my child, really." Mu Xiaoyui looked at the girl in her arms seriously. "Sister, she looks very much like you. She's like a smaller version of my sister, but the color of her eyes and hair are different." After saying this, everyone was surprised to find that this child was indeed exactly the same as Mukinjian, except for the silver hair color and purple eyes. This time it's better, she can't explain it at all. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 132. Chapter 132, Forced to become a mother. On this day, Mukinjian explained that till night, she could not explain that Mu Han was not her child. Because she said earlier that it was not her child, Mr. Bo directly asked people to come to collect their blood, and the results showed that their blood relationship was as high as 99.99%. Bo Lao shook his head and sighed. "Xiao Yan. The evidence is all here, so don't lie to us." "Forget it, the child is already so old, we will accept her, who is the father of the child. Yes. Xiao Yanyan, I didn't expect you to say something was wrong. But you ended up running to pick up your daughter, and you actually wanted to give us such a big surprise. It really scared me. A baby popped out of nowhere. It was really scary. Yeah boy, I hugged Mu Yanhan and said with a scared look on his face. Mu Qingjian looked dumbfounded, that, he is a boy. What, boy, you said this little guy who looks exactly like you is actually a boy. Boy, I directly lifted Mu Yanhan up, with a look of disbelief on his face. It shouldn't be. With such long hair and such a small face, she is obviously a girl. After speaking, she reached out and touched her. After touching it, he handed Mu Yanhan to Grandma Bo with an expressionless face, and then screamed in panic. Oh my god. He actually has a penis. I can't believe that such a beautiful person is actually a dick. I can now imagine that he will look exactly like Xiao Yanner when he grows up, but he is a boy. Ah, it's too ruinous for me. Xiao Yanner's impression. Bo Lao kicked him away and said, go away, you scared the child. What's wrong with the boy? Isn't it bad to look like Xiao Yan? What do you know, you idiot? Mu Xiao and Mu Xiaoyui didn't care whether he was a boy or a girl. Anyway, they knew that this child who looked exactly like his sister could play with them in the future. Thinking of this, they happily teased him. Lao Bo looked at her and asked with a serious expression, does Xiaoxian know about your child? At this time Han Yexuan walked in, Grandpa Bo, I know, this child is mine too. So you have a child a long time ago, but you just didn't tell us, right? The child can walk and talk, and you still hide it from us. Although I don't want you to get married too early, but you have children, so you have to tell us in advance. Ah, Bo Lao was extremely helpless. Grandma Bo hugged it, yes. If you said you had children, we would have let you get married long ago. How can we support you? I wish you could get married early. In the end, when Han Yexuan admitted that he was the father of the child, Mr. Bo let Mu Qingjian go, and she was forced to become his biological mother. She hugged Mu Yanhan with an innocent look on her face. The little guy didn't know that because of him, she had become an unwed mother. Looking at it sleeping, she raised her head. This is not my child, do you believe it? He reached out his hand and touched her head. Silly girl, where did you, a yellow-flowered girl, give birth to a child? I know its identity. It is your natal beast. Because you two have a blood contract, it has your blood on it, so it is equivalent to testing your own blood. The result is the same. After all, it will not give its precious dragon blood to others, so it is your blood. Mu Qingjian avoided his eyes shyly, then it looks a lot like me. Everyone will think it is my child. The natal beast takes the appearance of its master and the human appearance it wants, so it naturally looks like you. Dark flame transforms into a human form and lets your mistress see what you look like. A burst of black smoke disappeared, and the dark flame turned into a 5-year-old boy, who looked exactly like Han Yexuan. This surprised her, it's true. It looks like you. It's exactly the same. And Yan grinned and said, Mistress, although the master and I are exactly the same, we are not father and son. When we dragons reach adulthood, we will have our own appearance. Currently, we are transformed into human forms in the appearance of the master. Oh, so that's it, thank you Smolder. Hee, you don't have to thank the hostess, this is what you should do. As long as the hostess agrees to marry Xiaobai and me in the future, that's my little wish. You are all boys, how can you get married and have a baby? Dark Flames blushed, Mistress, our dragon clan doesn't need to differentiate between men and women. Mu Qingjian was extremely embarrassed, haha, really? It depends on whether Xiao Yunyan is willing or not. Well, as long as the mistress doesn't stop me, I will chase Xiaobai. Looking at Dark Flame's insistent look, she couldn't help but undermine its confidence. Come on. Dark Flame, you are also a dragon. Because it also has a pair of dragon horns on its head, she can naturally tell that it is a dragon. Yes. Ziobai and I are both ancient beasts, so mistress, we are a perfect match. After Dark Flame finished speaking, he still looked shy, and his small eyes secretly looked at Mu Yunhan who was sleeping. Han Yexuan saw her embarrassment and said, "Okay Yan, let's wait until you grow up to pursue your wife." "Okay. Then I'll go back to the master." It walked to Mu Yunhan and kissed his forehead. There was a mysterious mark on its forehead, which was the mark of its dragon companion. It had a successful expression on its face and then disappeared. It knows that it can't remember who it is now, so it has to act early and can't let the wife run away. Han Yexuan naturally saw how cunning it was, so he didn't stop it. "Ching-er, now your cultivation has reached the late stage of transcending the tribulation. It won't take long for you to transcend the tribulation and become an immortal." Mu Qingjian nodded, "I know. In fact, I have also looked away. With my current cultivation level, it will take a long time to overcome the tribulation and become an immortal. This breakthrough to the later stage of the tribulation is also because of the contract. It's probably not going to be that easy to survive the tribulation and become an immortal. Ching-er, I may have to leave for a while. During the period of my absence, you have to take good care of yourself and wait until I come back next year to marry you." "What's wrong? Why do you suddenly have to leave for a year? Is there something wrong? Do you need me to help you solve it?" He put his arms around her and kissed her forehead. "Silly girl, nothing will happen to me. I will be back in a year. Just practice well and wait until I come back to marry you." Mu Qingjian hugged him greedily, thinking that she would not be able to see him until a year later, and she couldn't help but feel sad. "Okay, nothing will happen to you. I'll wait for you to come back and marry me." She knew that he was not an ordinary cultivator, and she would not force him even if he didn't want to say it, because she believed that he would not hurt her. That night the two of them cuddled tightly together, and the sky gradually became brighter. Looking at his leaving figure, she couldn't help but shed tears. She didn't know why she felt a little sad suddenly. She always felt like he would never come back once he was gone. Han Yexuan knew that she was crying, but he couldn't look back because he was afraid that he would not be able to leave. If he continues to stay here, it will harm her, so he can only leave. But he will definitely come back and marry her. This is a mutual agreement. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 133. Chapter 133, Making a Fuss About Asking for a Mother. After Mu Yunhan got up, he saw Mu Qingjian crying. The little man reached out and touched the tears on her face. "Mother, what's wrong with you?" She saw him getting up and quickly wiped away her tears. "Haha, it's nothing. Little Yunyan, you're awake." She didn't know why she shed tears. This was the first time she shed tears. When did she become so sensitive and fragile? He put his arms around her neck and said, "Mom, be good. Don't cry. Okay, let's go. Mom will take you to brush your teeth, wash your face, and eat." She hugged him and gave him a kiss. He chuckled, "Okay. The most annoying mother." When Mu Qingjian led her downstairs, the two little guys immediately surrounded her. "Sister, you and Xiao Yunyan are up?" "Xiao Yunyan, please call uncle." "Ahem, that's Xiao Yu." "Xiao Yunyan can just call you brother, no need to call you uncle. After all, he is not his own child. If he lets two little children be his uncles, his dragon parents might get into trouble with her if they are still alive." Okay. I understand, sister. We can't be uncles anymore, but my uncle still said that I wanted to be uncle. He actually lied to us. Little Union, please call me brother, and I'll give you candy for you to eat. Mu Xiao took out his favorite lollipop was dangling in front of him. Even Mu Xiaorui took out his favorite toffee and put it on the palm of his hand. Xiaoying calls me brother. Brother will give you candy. Milk candy is the best. He reached out for the lollipop and grabbed a handful of toffee, making a milky sound. Guo guo. Xiao Yunyan is called brother, not guo guo. Mu Xiao couldn't help but struggle with what to call him. He frowned and said, guo guo. Grandma Bo laughed loudly after hearing this. Okay Xiao, don't bully little Yunyan, he is still young. He will bark when he grows up. He had to give up teaching him to call him brother. I know Grandma, Xiaorui and I are going to school first. Goodbye, sister, let's go. The two little guys walked away, and Grandma Bo looked at the little baby in her arms. Xiao Yan. Xiaoyan, what are you going to do in the future? You won't take him to school every day. Anyway, you and Xiaoxian have received their certificates, and your child's household registration has been registered. You don't have to worry about these issues. Mu Qingjian handed the child to her. Grandma, he is still young. It's weird for me to take him to school. You and Grandpa can help me take him. Grandma Bo smiled and hugged him, watching him eating a lollipop with a happy face. Okay, just go to school and your grandma and grandpa will take care of the child. Don't worry and go to school. Soon after Mu Qingjian left, he felt that his mother's aura slowly disappeared. I stopped eating the lollipop in my hand and my big eyes were filled with mist. Mother. Grandma Bo was about to cry when she saw the little guy who was happy just now. Be good. Xiaoyan, mother has gone to school. You have to be good and obedient at home, do you understand? He didn't know what school was, he only knew that his mother's breath was gone. You, mother. Looking at his unabated crying, which was so heartbreaking that Grandma Bo couldn't comfort her no matter what. With a look of distress on his face, he said, "Oh, why are you so clingy to your mother, little guy?" Mr. Bo, who rushed back, looked at Mu Yinhan who was crying and comforted him for a while without stopping. This made the two old people confused. This little kid is so noisy. Bo Yi was woken up by the loud crying and stood dazedly at the stairs of the second floor. Mom and Dad, why are there children crying in our house? It's so noisy that I can't sleep. Bo Lao saw him at home and said, "You kid is confused. Send Xiaoyan to Xiao Yan quickly. He has been crying for half an hour. It's not okay to cry anymore." It was only then that he remembered that this child belonged to Mu Qingjian. Ah, oh. Yes. I know. Just like that, Boy I was wearing pajamas and was forced by Mr. Bo to carry Mu Yinhan to school. After getting out of the car, he realized that he had not changed his clothes, but seeing the little guy crying heartbrokenly in his arms, he had no choice but to bite the bullet and walk into the school in his pajamas. Everyone looked surprised when they saw that he was holding a crying child in his arms. Oh my God, what did I see? Boy I actually has a child. No, Boy I became a father when he was only 20 years old. My heart is broken. This melon is so big. Do contemporary celebrity college students take their children to school? Wow. Everyone gathered around and kept pointing at Boy I. He looked at Mu Yinhan who was crying and ignored them. Okay. My little ancestor. If you cry again, you will go blind. Aren't I going to take you to find your mother? Your mother is right here, do you understand? His big red eyes looked at him with tears in their eyes. Mother, I want mother. Okay, okay, you will see my mother soon, be good, stop crying. Bo Yi saw that he finally stopped crying, and his handsome face was completely relieved. If he continues to cry like this, everyone will probably think of him as a monkey, and those who don't know better will think that he is abusing him. Looking at his face that was exactly the same as Mukinjian's, he was about to cry until his whole body fell apart. This made him even more afraid of children. This child was so annoying. Don't look at this cute little guy, you can almost send him away if you cry. Thinking about the cold personalities of Mukinjian and Han Yexuan, I can't understand why their sons are so torturous. I haven't inherited their cool and quiet character at all. When he arrived at her classroom and saw Mukinjian, it was like seeing light. The whole person walked over quickly and said, "Give your son back to you. Your son can cry so much that the whole family is almost bursting with tears from him. No matter how much he coaxes him, he can't be coaxed. As long as you are a mother, we can only give him to you. You sent it back. If there's nothing wrong, I'll leave first." She looked at Mu Yinhan in her hand and looked at each other with wide eyes. Bo Yu ran away after saying that, as if he was running away. When the little guy saw her, he hugged her neck tightly with an aggrieved look on his face. "Mom, you are naughty, don't want little Yunyin." Yinkinja and others looked at the child in her arms. "Ah, who is she? Why did she call Xiao Yanyan her mother? Master, when did you give birth to your child? Why didn't we know? The child is already so big." Tang Yuj looked shocked. Zhang Xinggrui looked up and down at the child who looked exactly like her. "Holy shit, you two look exactly the same. This little baby girl is really your daughter. She is my biological mother. She looks exactly like her. I don't care if she is not her biological child. Go jump off the building." Mukinjian really wanted to yell at him and say, "Go dance, it is indeed not her biological child." But she couldn't use the science here to prove that he was not her biological child, so forget it. Anyway, if she was misunderstood, she would be misunderstood. She was too lazy to explain so much. After all, he would live with her in the future. He needs an identity, so there is no explanation that the child is not hers. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 134. Chapter 134, Threatening to be a mistress. The classmates gathered around Mukinjian and looked at this beautiful girl. Oh my god. She looks like a smaller version of Goddess Mu. So cute. Yes, such a cute girl. I have been thinking about how beautiful Goddess Mu's children will be in the future, but the results are exactly the same. Haha, it's so fun to watch. Mukinjian put him on the table. He had big eyes, biting his fingers, and looked at everyone with a puzzled expression. Everyone was instantly turned into cute people. Ah, no, it's just too cute. Yinkinja picked him up, feeling overflowing with maternal love. It's so cute. Xiao Yanyan, your daughter is so adorable. I really want to take her home and raise her. Tanyuj was also impressed by her cuteness. The child who looks like Master is so cute and I like her so much. Well, didn't boy I just say that? She's a boy, not a girl. Mukinjian held her forehead and retorted weakly. Ah. It's a boy. A boy who looks exactly like Xiao Yanyan. Haha, this is great, Yinkinja said excitedly. When she was about to touch him for confirmation, he slapped her in the face. Mother, scared. She had no choice but to hug him and said, Xiao is a boy. You can't touch him randomly. He will be embarrassed. Yinkinja was a little embarrassed. Haha, I just want to confirm if he is a real boy. A real boy, a genuine and innocent boy. In this way, everyone knew that this child who looked exactly like her was a boy. In fact, the school did not allow marriage and childbirth during college students. It's just that most people don't give birth to children so quickly, so when everyone knew that she had a child over 1 year old, they were obviously frightened. The head teacher looked at the child who looked exactly like her sitting on the table and was obviously frightened. Ahem, Classmate Mu, this is your child. Haha, everyone saw that the head teacher was frightened, and they all burst into laughter. Well, my son Mu Yinhan. Haha, looks like you, young and promising. Because he was by her side, he stopped making trouble and sat on the table in a very obedient and sensible manner and played with Mu Qingjian's fingers. Everyone gradually got used to his presence throughout the morning. He is so cute and cute. Even the teachers were fascinated by his eyes when they saw him. No one could resist such a cute child. As soon as get out of class was over, his classmates secretly passed their snacks to him, and his table was full of snacks. He ate happily. Mu Qingjian saw that he had eaten so many sweets and took away his snacks. The little guy's bright purple eyes instantly felt aggrieved. Mom, I want to eat some candy. No, you have eaten a lot today. If you eat again, your teeth will be gone. He curled his lips slightly and stretched out his hands for a hug. Mom, hug. The students on the side were always paying attention to his movements and unlocked new cute skills. Because she took her children to school, it quickly aroused everyone's heated discussion. Mu Qingjian hugged him and went to the cafeteria with Yin Qingja and others to eat. Everyone looked at the silver-haired child in her arms. It was exactly as the hot search on the school website said, the child was really hers. On their way to dinner, Zhang Mensu walked over on high heels with a look of disdain on her face. Tisk tisk, Mu Qingjian. You're pretty awesome for daring to go to school with an illegitimate child. Just because you're out of wedlock and have a child, do you think you're still worthy of Brother Xian? I suggest you stay away from him. You have children. Can he accept it? Don't you think it's embarrassing that you, a contemporary school goddess and school beauty, gave birth to a child out of wedlock? The emperor's capital, the first capital of the imperial capital, has been completely embarrassed by you. You dare to bring a child to the school in such an open and honest manner, which is embarrassing to the whole family. It's not enough, I wish the whole world could know about it. Zhang Mensu's followers all cheered, yes. Just drop out of school. If you take your child to college, do you want people from other schools to make fun of our college? Are you not ruining the reputation of our Imperial Phoenix College girls? Yin Qingja immediately became angry when she saw their aggressive faces. You think your family lives in the sea? You are so lenient. Does the school stipulate that you can't get married and have children in college? Does the school stipulate that you can't take your children to school? Where did you see it written? Where is the face, not the mouth? I ate feces this morning. It's so stinky. You don't mind that it's disgusting, but I hate that you have a bad mouth. Mu Qingjian pulled her and said, Okay Xiao, there is no need to talk to them so much, some people can't understand human speech. Mu Qingjian, who are you scolding? Just wait, I'm going to tell Brother Xian about this and see if he will marry you. Zhang Mensu glared at her fiercely and said. She calmly raised Mu Yinhan in her arms and said, that may disappoint you. The man you talk about as Brother Xian is long and Brother Xian is short, he is now my husband. Then she took out her marriage certificate and held it up. The photo inside was of her and Han Yexuan. This is our marriage certificate. You are thinking about someone else's husband, but he is a mistress. And the child you said was an illegitimate child, I'm sorry, he is in the same household registration book as our couple. Oh. By the way, this child's name is Hanya as a daddy, you can go talk to your brother Xian now. Zhang Mensu was so angry that her face turned black. So what if you have children, you will still get divorced and he will have another woman. You have to do it now. When Brother Xian marries me in the future, you can just cry, Brother Xian must be mine. Tanyuj couldn't believe that such a woman existed. Can you show off your face? My master and he are both married and have children. You want to be a mistress, where is your face? Everyone accused Zhang Mensu of being shameless and trying to be a mistress. She didn't care at all, she still looked extremely arrogant. If I have the ability to be a mistress, that's because I have the capital. If I don't have the ability, I can't even be a mistress. What do you people know? Brother Xian and I are destined to be together. This shameless operation made Mu Qingjian shake her head. I'm calling the police. You, Zhang Mensu, go to jail today for a few days. Brain is a good thing. If you don't have a brain, just eat some pig brain to supplement it. Pigs are smarter than you. After all, pigs are animals with high IQ. Comparing you with a pig is a bit insulting to the pig's intelligence. Are you kidding me? You called the police. You want the police to arrest me. Who do you think you are? Who dares to arrest me and put me in jail? You think I, Zhang Mensu, is scared, but you think the police of the imperial capital are your subordinates. Arrest me? For what reason did you arrest me and put me in jail? She looked unbelieving. Haha, in what name are you arrested and imprisoned? Don't worry, this is a big name. It's okay to have you go to jail for a few years if the circumstances are serious. I recorded everything you just said. I said let you go to jail. Just a few days, I'll let you go to jail for a few days, just wait. Everyone was watching, curious as to whether Zhang Mensu, who wanted to be her husband's mistress, could get her to go to jail. Everyone is looking forward to seeing if Mu Qingjian can be sent to jail. This is something you can't miss. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 135. Chapter 135. The evidence is conclusive. Suddenly a military plane parked on the school playground, and 5 soldiers came over. Those present saw that within a few minutes, the police actually arrived, and they were from the special forces. Isn't this awesome? After seeing her, the 5 people gave her a military salute respectfully. Report to Chief Mu, we have appointed someone to arrest someone. Who is that person? She glanced at Zhang Mensu lazily and casually. It's her, and this is the evidence. After finishing speaking, the content of the previous exchange was played. After listening to this, the expressions of several people changed drastically. The leader of the team walked up to her and said, "Miss, come with me to the bureau. You have broken the law. Come with me. Someone will take the person away." Zhang Mensu suddenly realized when she watched them cuffing her up with handcuffs. What? Why are you detaining me? Untie me quickly, or I will sue you for arresting people. Where is your arrest warrant? The man took out the arrest certificate given above and said, "You are the person we arrested. You have been arrested now. I suggest you cooperate well." She still didn't believe it. "I don't believe it. You are making false accusations. I will not go with you." Seeing that she was determined not to give up, Mu Qingjian took out her military ID card from her pocket. "I forgot to tell you, I am now a soldier, and this is my military ID, so just go and stay there for a few days. Take her away." Several special police officers saw her colonel's military ID and said, "I got it from Colonel Mu." Several people took Zhang Mensu with them and took her away by force despite her strong resistance. Everyone was frightened when they saw her being taken away. "Oh my god, Mu Qingjian is actually a colonel. When did this happen? It's over. Zhang Mensu really wants to go to jail, but she really wants to go to jail. The goddess is so awesome, she is actually a colonel. It's a pity that the goddess is married and has a baby." Yin Qingja looked at her happily. "Xiao Yanyan, when did you become a colonel? Do you know that you scared me? You are simply the youngest colonel I have ever seen. You were scared when you didn't see Zhang Mensu's face just now. You have to change your face." "Yes, master, you are a colonel now, you are so awesome." Tanyuj looked admiring. "Haha, okay, Jinjian, there's something else you haven't told us," Zhang Xingrui said with a smile. Seeing their sincere joy, she hugged the little guy and said, "It didn't happen long ago, so I don't have time to tell you. I've been busy recently, so I forgot. They looked at the child in her arms and saw that they were indeed very busy, probably taking care of the baby. Mu Kinjian hugged him and said, "Okay, let's go eat." She wasted a lot of time because she was making trouble for so long. A few people walked side by side happily, and the little guy happily played with her hair. On the other side, Jiang Mensu was taken to the bureau. Because she threatened to destroy Mu Kinjian's marriage, she was given a lesson and spent some time in jail. If the Jiang family hadn't interceded on her behalf, she would have probably stayed longer. Insulting Mu Kinjian can make her stay in jail for a period of time, and she is also arrogant and domineering and wants to destroy other people's marriages. It would be a pity for such a person not to let her go to jail for a few days. When Mu Kinjian came home, Grandma Bo saw Mu Yunhan staying in her arms obediently. "Xiao Yan. This child is too clingy to you. This morning when you went to school, he cried so hard that my grandma couldn't do anything. So my grandpa and I asked Xiao to take him to school to find you. Are you okay?" Mu Kinjian smiled and pinched his face. "It's okay, Grandma, I made an agreement with him today, and you can safely take him home tomorrow. Maybe I didn't tell him today, so he thought I was missing. So I cried. This problem won't happen tomorrow, don't worry." Grandma Bo didn't believe it. "Is it really possible? If you just agreed today, he would start crying again when you leave tomorrow. After all, how can a child know what he promised?" "Haha, don't worry, Grandma, little Union is actually very well behaved, you'll know tomorrow." "Okay then. Then Grandma will help you take care of you for another day tomorrow. If it still doesn't work, Grandma has nothing to do." "Okay Grandma, if that doesn't work, just send him to my school." Mu Xiao and Mu Xiaoyui came back in the car and ran towards her happily. "Sister, we are back." The two of them put away their backpacks and handed the delicious snacks they bought today to Mu Yunhan. "Xiao Yunyan, this is the candy my brother brought you. It's very delicious." He was very happy after seeing the candy. "Kuo, Tang Tang, little Union wants it." "Haha, here you are, little Union, it's my brother." Mu Xiao put the candy in his hand, but couldn't help but struggle with what to call him. Seeing that he was still barking like this, I stopped forcing him because his mouth was busy eating sweets. "Xiao Xiaoyui, you guys have fun with your brother, don't give him too much candy, otherwise, all his teeth will fall out." "Okay, got it, sister." The two held his hands and took him to see their spiritual pet. Two young tiger cubs trotted over happily wagging their tails after seeing them. Mu Xiao hugged Tuan Tuan and Yuan Yuan and said, "Xiao Yunyan, look, this is my brother's spiritual pet. Isn't it cool and beautiful?" He raised his head and looked at the two young tiger cubs. "Ouch!" cried out. The two tiger cubs trembled after hearing this, and even Boyai's spiritual pet black tiger lying on the ground in fear. This interesting scene was seen by the two of them. "Wow, little Yunyan's whining actually scared them, haha, it's really amazing." Mu Yunhan ate a lollipop and looked at the three trembling tigers. "Ouch!" His face was full of arrogance. The two of them found that the three pets no longer trembled and worshipped him even more. As expected of her sister's child, she looks like her sister, but she is awesome. Lao Bo knew that all three of them had a tiger, so in order to avoid trouble, he had obtained all the documents for the three tigers. Let people take care of these three tigers every day. The main reason is that the three tigers are relatively spiritual, and he knows that. By the time Boyai came over to find the three of them, Xiaoan was riding the black tiger's head, smiling from ear to ear. Black Tiger hugged his waist with an aggrieved look on his face after seeing him. "Ouch! Master, save the tiger, these three kids are devils." Bo Yi saw the aggrieved tiger face of his spiritual pet, although he could not understand what it was saying. "But I could also feel its grievance, and I quickly comforted and touched its big head. Xiao Xiao Yui, it's time for dinner, don't bully Haihu all the time, you know. After saying that, he held Mu Yinhan in his arms and gave him a flick on the head. You are the most naughty little guy. You are so small, but you are the most naughty one. I don't know who you look like. You are very powerful even though you are small. He saw Bo Yi playing himself, looking at him with a grieved expression. Bad guy, beat little Yunyin. Ha ha. Seeing that he was not comforting himself but still laughing at himself, he stubbornly turned his head. Snort. Grandma Bo saw him and hugged him quickly. Okay, let's eat. I'll feed Xiaoun. He was extremely well behaved during dinner, which was completely different from how he was in the morning. This made Grandma Bo also expect that he would not continue to make trouble tomorrow. Thanks to Changjin for sending us 4 monthly passes. Thank you so much. I feel everyone's support. I was blocked twice today, so the release was slow. I'm very sorry. End of this chapter. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 136. Chapter 136 Country M rescues people. At night, as Mu Qingjian was lying on the bed, the image of Han Yexuan lingered in her mind. So she didn't fall asleep, looking at little Yunyan sleeping in her arms. She flashed into the space and continued practicing. Turn thoughts into motivation for practice. The next morning she left the space early and looked at little Yunyan who had already woken up. Get up. You have to be obedient at home today, you know? Mom will be back in the evening, so don't cry, you know. He sat on the bed and listened obediently. Mother, don't cry. Okay, that's how you behave. When she handed the child to Grandma Bo and left the house, the little guy was surprisingly well behaved today. This made the two old people feel relieved. When Bo Lao saw how well behaved he was, he took him directly to show off to his friends. He is looking forward to this day. He is now a great-grandfather, with 4 generations living under the same roof. When Mr. Yin, Mr. Zhang, and Mr. Xia saw him with a little milk baby, they were obviously confused. Mr. Xia looked at this delicate and beautiful child and said, "You old guy, where did you get this child? Whose child is it from?" Mr. Yin and Mr. Zhang heard yesterday that the children said that Mu Qingjian had a son, but they still didn't believe it. Now when she saw him showing up with a child who looked exactly like her, she was obviously a little scared. Mr. Zhang took a closer look and found that he was exactly the same as Mu Yetu. Oh my god! He is really Mu Yetu's son. He is simply a miniature version of her. They are exactly the same. I didn't expect them. Mu Yetu's children are already so old. Mr. Bo said with a smug smile, haha, that's right, this is my granddaughter's biological son. How can they not look alike? The genes are so powerful. Haha, this is my great-grandson, you are envious. I didn't expect that I would become great-grandfather before you. Haha, Xiaoni R, please call me great-grandfather. Mu Yinhan raised his head and squealed. Too hot. Bo Lao laughed loudly after hearing this. Xiao Yin'er is so good, haha. Yin and the other 2 people looked at his embarrassed expression and couldn't help but feel a little helpless. He brought Mu Qingjian's son here just to show off his feelings. Mr. Xia had a look of disgust on his face. You came here just to make me angry, right? Yes. I know you like to be a great-grandfather, so that's enough. Give me a hug, don't just hold the child and make sarcastic remarks. Mr. Yin grabbed the child and played with him. At the end of the day, Mu Yinhan was taken out by Mr. Bo and introduced to his friends everywhere. By the time she got home, the little guy was clinging to her and wouldn't let anyone hold him. Looking at his tired look, I knew that he had been put in a hard day today. Just hugging him and touching his head with a smile, little Union is very good today. Mother, it's too hot, I'm so scared. Don't hug me, little Union. He looked scared. Okay, Grandpa likes you, don't be afraid, he likes you just like my mother likes you. Okay. Seeing that he was no longer afraid, she felt relieved. After all, she had a mission tonight, but she couldn't carry him on the mission. The boss told her something important again, saying that their important people were trapped in a military stronghold of Country M, and she needed to rescue Dr. Ho. Hand him to Grandma Bo. Grandpa, I'm going to Country M later, and I have another task assigned to me. Bo Lao looked solemn. Is it because of Dr. Ho? Yes, Grandpa. Then you have to be careful. Are you going to the M Country military base alone? Don't you need someone to accompany you? No need, Grandpa, too many people will affect me. I can still save one person by myself. Lao Bo still looked at it with some concern, took a pistol from the room and handed it to her. Use this for self-defense. Be safe at all times. Okay, Grandpa, I'll leave first, they may come to pick me up. Lao Bo followed her and watched her get on the military plane. When Boy rushed over, he saw her getting on the plane. Dad, what is Xiao Yanyan doing? Why did the military come to pick her up? Why are you asking so much? Go back to eat. She is a soldier now, and there are many things that cannot be known to others, so go back. Bo Yi followed him. Oh. Got it, Dad. When Mu Qingjian got on the plane, the person who handed over the plane handed Dr. Ho's photo to her. Hello Colonel Mu, this is Dr. Ho's photo and exact location. Please be careful. She took the photo, glanced at it, and handed it to him. Okay, I understand. Just send me 10 kilometers away from their military base. Then you can go back to avoid being discovered. Okay, Colonel Mu, do you need a gun? No need, I have brought a pistol, you can go back first. Okay, Colonel Mu, please be safe and wish you a triumphant return. Mu Qingjian pulled the rope and landed smoothly, waving her hand to him. The plane slowly rose and the rope was retracted. He took out another mask from the space, put it on his face, and appeared in the military center of Country M in an instant. According to the information they provided, the whole person was walking inside like a shadow. Looking at this important military area, it is really secure. If anyone takes a step, they will be triggered by the police. Looking at the front, there are so many infrared sensors that I have to admire them. Dr. Ho was locked up tightly, as if he was afraid of being rescued. Mu Qingjian's body was as soft as if she had no bones. She shuttled under the dense infrared rays and finally came over easily. At this time, a group of patrolmen passed by her. She quickly jumped to the ceiling and lay on it like a spider. When they walked over, she jumped out from the top. When she arrived at the place where Dr. Ho was closed, she saw Dr. Ho tied to a chair, sitting on it in a somewhat embarrassed manner. Dr. Ho looked at the sudden appearance of Mu Qingjian and suddenly became very excited. Unfortunately, he couldn't say anything, so he could only use his eyes to signal her to run away. Ba bang! A man from Country M clapped his hands and walked out from another exit. It's so exciting, I didn't expect that there would be such a strange person like you in Country H. You worked really hard to save Dr. Ho, but it's a pity that you were still caught by us. Dozens of people behind him raised their guns, and all their guns were pointed at her. Even if you are a strange person, can you escape from so many guns from me? Mu Qingjian looked at them without any nervousness. You all know that I am a strange person. Do you think those guns of yours are useful to me? As soon as she finished speaking, she took out her pistol and killed 6 people at once. Everyone was shocked, and the man from Country M changed his face drastically. Shoot, kill her for me. Bang bang. Countless bullets hit her body, forming an invisible and colorless barrier. Everyone present was shocked. What's going on? She's not a human being. Diarho looked at the strange scene in front of him with a surprised look on his face. He was completely stunned. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Lugo Meyer. Chapter 137. Chapter 137. She fell in love with a girl. Mukinjian walked to Diarho and easily unlocked his shackles. Diarho, let's go, I've already sent someone to pick us up. Diarho was stunned for a moment. Oh, okay, let's leave quickly. The countrymen were so frightened when they saw her that they didn't know what the use of holding a gun was. The gun was like a toy in front of her and was of no use at all. The leaders of Country M just watched her take Diarho away openly, but there was nothing they could do. Before leaving, she did not forget to destroy all the surveillance systems in the base. It was as if she was not there tonight, and they had nothing to do with her. Diarho just followed her and walked out in a swagger, as if others couldn't see them. When the two successfully walked out of the military base of Country M, Diarho admired Mukinjian and said, "Hello, thank you very much for saving me. I am Ho Fangzi, are you from Country H? Who asked you to save me?" He looked at the tall woman in front of him. He didn't know whether she was an enemy or a friend and from which country she came. But he was happy that she rescued him, but he was afraid that he would fall into another big pit. Mukinjian took off her mask, revealing her delicate face. "Hello Diarho, I am Mukinjian, the granddaughter of Chief Boan Yubo. So Diarho does not need to restrain or worry about yourself. You have come out and can return to your own country." When Diarho saw her face, he found that the person who saved him was actually a very beautiful girl. "It turns out that you are the granddaughter that Mr. Bo recently recognized. It really surprises me. Mr. Bo is really happy to have such an amazing granddaughter like you. Diarho complimented me. Let's go, the plane is parked not far away." A military plane slowly stopped near Mukinjian. When the two got on the plane, the receptionist celebrated happily. "Congratulations on your return, Diarho. Thank you for your hard work, Colonel Mu." Diarho was obviously stunned when she heard the receptionist call her Colonel Mu. He is indeed young and promising. She became a colonel at a young age, but she is so powerful, so that's not too much. Once the person is safely delivered to the destination, Mukinjian plans to walk home. Today was supposed to be a very dangerous matter, but in her hands, it turned out to be an easy matter. The superiors paid more attention to her, and there was an even greater need to win over her. On the way back, she walked slowly on the quiet street. Looking at the sky, there were not even a single star left, and the air was very bad. Although there are many interesting things in this world, she found that the air quality was very poor and the whole city was filled with a strong atmosphere of hostility. So she also understands why so many people are unable to practice. Living in such a city, they don't even have spiritual power. And how to practice, even if you practice, you can't reach the highest state. So urban development is good for ordinary people, but for practitioners, it is better to go to the virgin forest to practice. "Help, someone help me." Suddenly she heard a small cry for help, which caught her attention. She came to a dark corner, where several drunken men were tearing off a girl's clothes and were planning to force her to do so. "Stop, what are you doing?" Several drunkards took a look, and a masked woman appeared in front of them. A bald man looked at her with disdain and said, "Get out of here, and stay out of the way, or you will come with us." "Tisk, tisk, that's very arrogant, then I'll see if you can withstand a beating." Mukinjian stepped forward quickly and knocked the man to the ground, beating him until his nose was bruised and his face was swollen. Several men saw her and beat her bald head 2 or 3 times until she was unable to resist. They were all frightened. "Now it's your turn, whoever comes first." The two of them watched the bald man fall to the ground, twitching and foaming at the mouth, before they reacted. "Auntie, please spare your life. We don't dare anymore. If you don't dare, get out of here." A few people were grateful and ran away dragging their bald heads on the ground, as if there were ghosts chasing them behind them, but there were indeed ghosts chasing them behind them. So they had suffered a lot recently, so they let the female ghost play with them. Mukinjian walked up to the girl and took off her coat to cover the girl's exposed skin. The girl raised her head tremblingly. Thank you for saving me." It was then that she saw her face clearly. "Jiang Minmin, what are you doing out so late? Why are you dressed like this?" Jiang Minmin listened to the familiar voice, then looked at the mask on her face, and a slightly trembling voice sounded, You are Mukinjian, it's impossible, Xiao Yan has been missing for more than a year. How could you be she?" She casually took off her mask and said, "It's me. You haven't told me why you're dressed like this. Are you encountering some difficulty?" When Jiang Minmin saw her face, tears flowed down her face and she covered her face. "Xiao Yan, don't look at me, I feel so dirty now." She squatted on the ground and cried helplessly, her most miserable appearance being seen by the person she liked. This made her completely panic. She didn't want to face her in such a dirty look. Mukinjian reached out and grabbed her shoulders. "It's okay, the bad guys have run away, don't be afraid." Jiang Minmin looked at her with red eyes, stretched out his hands to hug her tightly, leaned against her and cried loudly. "Whoa!" Looking at the girl in front of her like a wounded deer, it makes people feel so distressed. She looks a bit like her dead childhood playmate. So she felt uncomfortable that time when she went to Liuzai village. She took the initiative to carry her on her back, maybe to make up for her past regrets. After crying for a long time, Jiang Minmin looked at her sheepishly. "I'm sorry, Xiao Yan, I soiled your clothes." "It's okay, the clothes can be washed if they are dirty. Do you feel better? Can you still walk? If you can't walk, I will carry you home." Mukinjian saw that her foot was injured and it looked like it would be difficult to even stand up, so she couldn't help but ask her if she needed help. She nodded shyly and looked at her with a pair of red and watery eyes. "Can't leave, I'm sorry." She squatted half-crouched in front of her. "Come up. Wherever your home is, I'll take you back." She lay on her warm back, resting her head on her extremely safe shoulder, smelling the faint fragrance of her body. A year later she met her in this way again, and every time she came to her like her unparalleled hero. She knew she was a girl, but she couldn't control the heart beating for her. This is the first time in 19 years that she has been treated like this. She is perfect and excellent, but when she knows that she is missing. At that moment, her heart seemed to have lost something important, and she realized that she liked her. She understood that girls should not like girls, but she could not control her heart. Now that fate has arranged for them to meet again, she really wants to guard her silently, so she is content. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 138. Chapter 138 The Emotions That Make Bolao Question. When Mukinjian carried her to the dilapidated and messy alley, she looked at the bustling people on the road, drinking and chatting about life at a roadside stall. The people here were full of gloom, and she couldn't believe that a weak girl like Jiang Minmin could live in this place. "You grew up here, it looks a bit messy here." Jiang Minmin smiled bitterly. "My parents divorced, and I was raised by my father. My mother divorced him because he liked to drink and brag all the time. After drinking, he also liked to curse and hit people. He didn't make enough money to hang out with his friends outside. Chic. My mother divorced my father when I was 10 years old. I paid for my tuition by myself. My father died a few months ago and I owe a lot of money from food, drink, and gambling. So in order to pay back the money, I had to drop out of school. Then I went to the club to drink with others, and I would give me a little tip when I met good customers. The bad ones were just those few people, but even though I work so hard to make money, my dad owes me. I can't repay all the money in a short while. Mukinjian did not expect her experience to be so difficult. Life is like this, everyone's life is different. Maybe you will resent God's unfair treatment, but this society is so cruel. You are great, and you have worked very hard, and all your hard work will be duly rewarded. Jiang Minmin smiled bitterly. Well, I know that all the hard days will eventually pass. I believe that everything will get better, so I work so hard. But my job is looked down upon by many people. Sometimes I also feel like I don't look like myself anymore. The person who asked me to pay back the money made trouble at my house, and all my neighbors and friends knew that I was a drunkard. I seem to have escaped from this place. You're going to get out of this place, trust me. When Mukinjian carried her to room 403 on the 7th floor, 7 or 8 gangster-like people were standing in her room. The table and other things inside were smashed, and daily necessities were thrown on the ground. It was a terrible mess. The leading man saw Jiang Minmin behind her and sneered. Hey, Jiang Minmin, you're willing to come back. Where's the money? Where's the money your dad owes me? If you don't pay me back, I won't just destroy your house. Pay it back quickly. Looking at the scene in front of her, she finally broke down and slowly got off Mukinjian's back. I said, give me some time and I will return the money to you. The man stood up arrogantly, looking at her up and down with evil eyes. You said I'd give you time, I'll give you time. Whoever you are, if I ask you to pay back the money today, you can pay it back. It's okay if you don't pay back the money. As long as you are willing to do that business, you can quickly pay your father's debt. Give me my money back. You're just a bartender anyway, so it's not like you're doing anything like that. Haha. Jiang Minmin was so embarrassed that she said angrily, impossible, I will pay back the money, and you should leave my house immediately. What are you pretending to be? How do you think you are clean? You are willing to go to such a shabby place to drink with others. Do you still care about that? Mukinjian couldn't stand hearing it anymore, so she kicked the person away and said with a look of disgust, your mouth is really dirty, you should go to the toilet to wash your mouth and brain. The man raised his head from the toilet and covered his mouth, unable to stop himself from vomiting. Looking at the blood and teeth in his hands, he looked at the remaining people angrily. Why are you standing there so stupidly? Beat this masked woman to death. It's mine to beat her to death. The gangster immediately picked up the stick in his hand, and she picked up the broom. Min, please step back, don't get hurt by them. She took a few steps back obediently and said with a worried look on her face, be careful, they are all gangsters. Several people rushed up and were knocked to the ground by her. After a while, they all fell to the ground and screamed in pain. The leader saw her coming and backed away in fear. What do you want to do? I'm from a gang. If you dare to kill me, my boss won't let you go. Kill you? You are not worthy of me killing you, I think it is too dirty. As soon as he finished speaking, he kicked him fiercely. Then he smiled and said, but I'd rather beat you up and keep you in the hospital for a few months. Jiang Minmin looked in admiration when she saw her beating up so many people by herself. Xiao Yan, you are so amazing. Mukinjian clapped her hands and said, don't worry, the police will come and take them away soon. What, did you call the police? When did it happen? The one I just reported is almost here. At this time, Director Gao rushed to the scene with his people and smiled when he saw her. You are Colonel Mu. Why did you ask me to come here? Yeah. Yes. These people are suspected of loan sharking, and they attacked me and wanted to kill me. You see how long they can go to jail. If it is not enough, I will add a little more, as long as they go to jail longer. Director Gao said with a smile, Colonel Mu is joking. They attack you and want to kill you, which is enough to put them in jail. Suspected of loan sharking is just a small problem, but someone wants to take these people back. Take Colonel Mu away to me. Even after being beaten to death, several people couldn't believe it. The masked woman just now turned out to be a colonel. If they attacked the colonel, they might really be thrown into jail. Mu Qingjian looked at the mess in front of her and said, come home with me first. You can't live here either. I'm afraid their people will continue to cause trouble for you, so come to my house for a few days first. Jiang Minmin nodded in agreement. She didn't expect that she was already a colonel now, and she was getting further and further away from her. Director Gao immediately smiled and said, Colonel Mu, do you want to go home? I will take you back. Okay, thank you, Director Gao. Colonel Mu, you're too polite, it's a small matter. Director Gao smiled happily. When Director Gao sent it back, Mr. Bo saw him. Thank you for sending Xiao Yan back. I have troubled you today. No trouble, Boss Bo has a serious word. I'll go back and deal with those prisoners first. The two chatted for a while, and Director Gao left happily. Late tonight, he suddenly received a message from Mu Qingjian on his mobile phone. He thought someone was playing a prank. I didn't expect it to be Colonel Mu's message. He quickly opened the group message, checked that his information was indeed correct, and quickly led people to the scene. You must know that this group is all at the boss level, he is just a regional director. He didn't know that because of his serious handling of the incident, a multi-person team was caught on suspicion of illegal lending. Later, he was promoted by Mr. Bo and was successfully promoted to a level, but he was extremely happy. Mu Qingjian fixed Jiang Minmin's feet, it's fine now. Just rest for a few days. You have a good rest tonight. Don't think too much. Good night. She was lying on the bed, thank you, Xiao Yan, good night. When she came downstairs, Mr. Bo asked with some doubts, Xiao Yan, who is this girl? Grandpa, she's my friend, what's wrong, is there anything wrong with her? Lao Bo shook his head, it's okay, go and have a rest. I'm exhausted today. Okay, Grandpa, you should go to bed early, it's getting late. After saying that, he went upstairs to rest. Lao Bo shook his head and denied his words with a smile. Maybe I was blinded, maybe the girl just admired Xiao Yan too much. It's impossible for the kind of emotions between men and women to exist, after all, both of them are girls. Lao Bo didn't know that Jiang Minmin just liked Mu Qingjian, even though they were both women. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 139. Chapter 139, The End of the World premieres. Mu Qingjian asked Boss Bo to let Jiang Minmin return to school the next day. When she received the notice from the school, she couldn't help crying again. She knew that she had done all this, and she was very touched. She was just an ordinary classmate of hers. But she has done this for herself, and she wants to do something for her more and more. By the time she came back from school again, Jiang Minmin's feet were almost healed. Since arriving at her home, she found out that she was married and had children. Deep down, she felt a little uncomfortable but also blessed. Mu Qingjian saw that she was a little distracted. Minmin, I have a company, are you willing to come to my company and help me? Xiao Yan, I'm willing to do it. You can do whatever you need from me. Haha, it's not a very complicated thing, just help me check out the store and buy some talismans and deal with people and so on. Seeing that she was a little confused, he explained to her, and she finally came to her senses. She didn't expect that she would be doing things like a magic stick in private, but she trusted her so much that she decided to do it for her. When Jiang Minmin's legs recovered, Tang Yuj took her to get familiar with the company's environment, and she gradually got used to it. At first, Bo Lao thought his suspicion was wrong, but he found out that Jiang Minmin had strange feelings for his granddaughter. Now that I see her gone, I feel relieved. Who knows that my granddaughter is so good that even girls like her? Mu Qingjian received a notification from director Descruya that the movie will be released today, and Boyi also received the news. She ran back happily, Xiao Yan. The movie Doomsday that we two filmed today will be released soon. It's so great. I've invited all the classmates in my class to come and support me. Do you want to join us and show your class? My classmates are also invited. That's okay too, I'll ask in the class group. Then he sent a message to the group, the Doomsday is premiering today. I would like to invite everyone to watch a movie together. Is anyone willing to go? Zhao Yang, goddess, are you inviting me? I have to go. Take me one. Tianjian, come on. The goddess is inviting everyone, not just you. I am also willing to be a goddess. Yin Qinjia, the end is coming? Xiao Yanyan said it was filmed by director Descruya, and the woman from Country H wearing a mask on the cover looks like you. You're not really a pretty girl, are you? Mu Qingjian, yes, so you are welcome to come and see it together. Zhangxing Grui, awesome. I have to support you. What time is it? Let's gather together to see it. Mu Qingjian, the time starts at 11:35 noon. It is at Nanhai Cinema number 6. I have booked a box and come over to watch it. At this time, all the students expressed their intention to go. After all, they were still looking forward to this apocalyptic movie. The two little guys were also excited to go, so Boyi drove them along. There was enough room for the two classes to sit, so they chose a more suitable seat and sat down. Mu Qingjian held Xiaoan in her arms and sat between the two little guys. The two little guys were holding popcorn and drinking drinks in their hands, looking at the big screen with excited faces. The two little guys did not forget to feed Xiaoan in her arms. At this time, the movie started and everyone became quiet. A strange foreign woman appeared on the movie screen. She suddenly fell to the ground motionless. People around her couldn't help but stop and look at her curiously. I saw the woman twitching wildly in a weird posture, and her skin became weird. Finally, he suddenly pounced on the man just now, opened his fangs and bit the man's aorta. The blood splattered on the spot, and the realistic scene shocked everyone present. Everyone saw in the movie that several men stepped forward to grab a crazy woman, and were directly bitten by the woman. Someone who was bitten quickly turned into a zombie and came back to life, continuing to bite the living people around him. At this time, everyone also saw Mu Qingjian and Boyi appear on the stage. The two of them ran and fought together. Those difficult martial arts moves couldn't be too cool. Everyone looked at her and Boyi one after another, showing nymphomaniacal smiles. Some people couldn't help but say that they were so handsome. The students present were very excited and nervous. The main reason is that the zombies are so realistic that everyone can't help but be afraid that they will be bitten. At this time, I saw a foreign man being suppressed by several zombies. Mu Qingjian stepped forward to help, and the man was rescued. Everyone knew that the male protagonist appeared, but they found that Mu Qingjian's temperament somewhat suppressed the male protagonist, who made her appear too handsome earlier. Everyone was frightened to death one after another. Zombies terrorized the crowd, and some people were bitten beyond recognition. The scene can be said to be very bloody, but everyone found Mu Xiao, Mu Yinhan, and her children. The three children were eating with relish. In such a scary and zombie movie, these three little guys are not afraid at all and can still eat it. I have to admire them, they are indeed a family. Courage means bigness. The whole movie process is very exciting. In the middle part, Boy proudly received the lunchbox and fell into Mukinjian's arms. In the end, he turned into a zombie, and she had no choice but to kill him herself. Everyone shed tears when they saw this scene. Boy died. As the protagonist of the movie who receives a box lunch, I was very moved when I saw everyone crying because of me. All the girls were crying profusely and kept mumbling about how miserable Boy's death was. Everyone thought he was dead, and he himself felt as if he was really dead. He coughed quickly and said softly, "That Boy is not dead, I am still here." Everyone is crying so sadly. I am embarrassed to stay here. Everyone looked at his face and cried even harder. Mukinjian smiled and said, "Okay. Everyone is in the fun now and can't listen." Boyi clasped his hands in prayer and said with a serious face, "Xiaoyanyan, I feel that my soul has been sublimated. Countless people prayed for me and shed tears. I feel that my soul is about to ascend to heaven." Mu Xiao rolled his eyes, "Uncle, you haven't burped yet. There is no way to ascend to heaven. The teacher said that people can ascend to heaven only after they die." Go, your brother-in-law, I'm only 20, what the heck, can you imitate my brother-in-law, I have some sense of humor. I don't want it, we have a brother-in-law who has a generation gap. Boyi felt unhappy when he heard him say there was a generation gap. What is a generation gap? Do you dislike me? Brother-in-law, you are already old. I think you are a grandpa, and little Union is called grandpa. Mu Yunhan raised his head and looked at him cooperatively. Yeah. Grandpa almost didn't send him away at this sound, but he still said with a playful smile, "Little Union is great, she can call him grandpa." Everyone looked at his appearance and couldn't help but cover their mouths and snickered, feeling so cold. Thanks to He Luxio for sending 2 monthly tickets, and thank you all for sending recommendation tickets. I am very sorry that I didn't make an update because I had to take leave yesterday. End of this chapter. The contemporary academic god is secretly a charlatan. Author, Luo Meyer. Chapter 140. Chapter 140. The two people who disappeared mysteriously. The movie ends successfully. Although the movie is scary, it is unstoppable, exciting and intense. Everyone talked about the movie just now with gusto, and Mukinjian became completely popular after the movie was aired. Becoming the most popular character in the movie, she also became popular in Country M. She was called the most beautiful kung fu goddess by people in Country M. This movie has been on the hot search list in various countries. More people went to watch the movie on the second day, and movie theaters everywhere were full. Especially since Mukinjian and Boyi are from the H country, everyone should also cheer for and encourage their own countrymen. So in less than a week, the box office exceeded 5 billion, which shocked everyone. The box office continues to rise, and many people have approached her to sign her. There were also people who offered her movies and TV series, but she rejected them all. Bolao looked at her with approval. The entertainment industry is too chaotic. As a colonel, you are not suitable to continue filming. Otherwise, someone will get caught and it will be difficult to explain. I understand, Grandpa, I will not enter the entertainment industry. I am busy practicing recently so I have time to be a star. Just when everyone was liking Mukinjian, a Weibo suddenly broke the news that she had an illegitimate child. No. How old are you when you become a mother? This is too scary. I can't believe this goddess has a child, it's so incredible, look at it. Whose child is it? It's so inappropriate. Such a person deserves to star in a movie directed by Descrua. I'm so disappointed in such a person. This made everyone express their disappointment with her. It was too inappropriate for a college student to have an illegitimate child. Everyone was verbally attacking her and slandering her. When everyone was slandering her, this matter was brought to the attention of everyone above, in order to protect her personal rights and image. Everyone found that their Weibo suddenly fell into violation of regulations, so that countless people hacked Mukinjian's people. Suddenly, all Weibo accounts were banned and warned, and this incident became a big deal. With the news released on the official Weibo, everyone discovered that she was married. The child's father also surfaced, and even her military rank of colonel became known. At this time, all the people who had insulted her were shocked. They had just broken the law. No wonder she was banned and warned. Now no one dares to talk bad about her. When Mukinjian returned to school, her classmates walked by to comfort her. "Goddess, everyone who insulted you yesterday was banned. You don't know. Several students from our school have been warned and punished." Yes, yes, they thought that being a keyboard warrior and insulting you on the internet would not be known as a result. Those who seriously insulted you were given official warnings. Yinkinja hugged her arm and said, "Xiao Yan, you will be the one to protect us from now on, haha, you are so powerful and domineering. Whoever dares to scold you in the future will really break the law and be jailed. I will definitely protect you. If you are bullied, report my name," she exaggerated in a very cooperative manner. Everyone laughed, but they didn't expect that one day when they were in trouble, they would actually report her name, and it would actually be useful. When everyone was happy, suddenly Yinkinja and Zhang Xingrui suddenly received a message that Mr. Yin and Mr. Zhang disappeared. Seeing the panic on their faces, Mukinjian asked curiously, "What's wrong with you two? Your faces are so pale. Did something happen?" She threw herself into her arms in fear and cried loudly, "Xiao Yanyan, my grandfather and Grandpa Zhang are missing. The people above have been looking for them for several days, but they can't be found. What's going on? I'm so scared." She comforted her, "Don't cry. I didn't see anything happen to them from you two, which means they just disappeared. People are still alive, so don't worry. Xingrui, tell me what happened to them matter." Zhang Xingrui nodded and said, "The thing is like this. I remember my grandpa told me what kind of tomb Grandpa Yin was going to go to and what he was looking for. He and Grandpa Yin were going to look for it. He didn't tell us anything else. As soon as she heard something related to the tomb and Mr. Yin, she probably thought it was an ancient tomb. I understand, let me go find Grandpa for you." Yinkinja suddenly wiped away her tears and said, "Xiao Yanyan, take us with you. I want to find my grandpa and Grandpa Zhang, otherwise I won't feel at ease." Zhang Xingrui on the side also said quickly, "Yes. Take us with you. I can't let you go alone. Let us do our part. Master, just take them with you, otherwise, the two of them may not even be interested in studying." She could only nod in agreement, "Yeah. Okay. Aj, you don't have to go, after all, the company needs you. If there are any problems that can't be solved, just go to my house to find Dandan Boy." "Okay master, please be safe, I'll be fine here." The three of them then left the school, prepared their things, and made an appointment at a meeting place. Yinkinja and Zhang Xingrui were carrying travel bags, and they were holding things commonly used by their grandfathers in their hands. "Xiao Yanyan, do you want something that my grandpa often uses for something? This is used as a guide to find your grandfather and old man Zhang, otherwise, where would the three of us go to find them?" It was then that the two of them suddenly realized, that's it. We were all so nervous that we were stupid. Mukinjian took the thing, waved her hand, and a stream of smoke slowly rose up and drifted out in the distance. Since the two of them could not be seen by ordinary people, she had to temporarily open their spiritual eyes for them. He was shocked when he saw white smoke coming out of his grandfather's clothes. "Holy shit, my grandpa's clothes went up to the sky. Why are there white smoke coming out? My grandpa's bracelet is also smoking. Xiao Yanyan, what's going on, are we dazzled?" She explained in a funny way, I temporarily opened my spiritual eyes for you so that you can see what I saw. Let's follow the white smoke. We will find your grandpa. Get in the car. The two people quickly got into the car with their things in hand, looking at this magical scene with surprised faces. Fasten your seat belts, I'm going to drive, it's going to be a bit bumpy along the way. The two of them fastened their seat belts obediently and looked at her confusedly. How could the road be so bumpy when it was so good? Mukinjian followed by Yan and stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The two of them looked at the car that almost flew up and were so frightened that they quickly pulled up the handrails above their heads. Ah, that, Kinjian, our car is going a little too fast. It's okay. It's only 180 yards, and we haven't driven all the way yet. Otherwise, the white smoke will disappear quickly, so we must keep up with the speed of its disappearance. When the two of them heard 180 yards, they were almost scared out of their wits. But she had no choice but to let her race wildly on the rugged mountain road. Suddenly, the car slowly slowed down. It was driving on a road without cement road. It was actually just a little slower. The two of them were bouncing up and down like they were on a bumper car. Suddenly, the car flew continuously from a height of more than 2 or 3 meters to the road below. The two people looked pale, and they were still playing like this. This was probably the worst car ride they had ever had in their lives, so much so that they no longer dared to ride in the car she drove. People with weak hearts would probably be frightened to death. Thanks to Sieji for sending me 2 monthly passes. Thank you everyone for your support. End of this chapter.